As we continue to question number 5, what I've done is I have gone ahead and draw this table for you, but I'm going to show you how I came up with this table. So question 5, what does it say? It says given the functions, let me look at this. It says you are given the functions fy is equal to that, which is minus 1 over 4x, and g of y is equal to, and the graph of g, which is y, is equal to minus 1 over 2x minus 1. So it says use graph paper and draw both graphs on the same system of axes. Since it says clearly indicate the intercept to the axis. So you need 3 marks from this graph. So what I've done, let me just make this small. I just want to show you how I managed to draw this graph. So what you have, you need to take a calculator, and then the first graph, as you can see, it says y is equal to minus 1 over 4x. So you say table, you press mode, and then 3, and then you have got this f of x is equal to, then it's negative 1 over 4, and then you say alpha x. You look for x, which is, there is my x, equal to, where do you start? I just chose any part. It doesn't matter, you can choose any number to start from, because they were not specific to say start from where. Here I started from negative 4, and then I ended at 4. You see, it says end, you end at 4, and then steps, I want to step one after the other. As you can see, 0, 1, 2, of course there is no 3 there, because I was looking for even numbers. Remember, 4, you need numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8. So let's look at the numbers that I took there. If you look at the calculator, where it's minus 4, you see I put 1. Now minus 3 I don't have, that's why it's 0.75. I didn't want that. And then minus 2, it's 0.5. And then minus 1, I think you can see minus 1 is 0.25, as you can see on the other side. And then 0 is 0, I also have that. And then 1 is 0.25 there. And then what else? 2 is negative 0.5, and I don't have 3, and 4 is minus 1. So I got this. And the second one, you do the same thing. You say mod. Some calculators allow you to have 2 graphs. Where it says g of x, you input then this one, which is minus, okay, mod 3, which is minus 1 over 2. So some of the calculators will allow you to have these 2 graphs on the same part. And then minus 1. So if you say equal to, it will say g of x. You now input the second one, and then that's when you say start from minus 4, and then I say end in 4, and then step is 1. Now you do the same. If you look at what I did there for g of x, minus 4 is this 1, and then I don't have minus 3, minus 2 is that 0, as you can see. And then minus 1 is negative 0.5. So if you do that, you will get these values. But what I want to show you something, guys, these are straight lines. These graphs, both of them, they are straight line graphs. Straight line. Now with a straight line graph, it's easy to plot. You can actually take 2 points. You can choose this point here, and you choose that point, and you join them. All these other points are going to lie inside. You can even, okay, so it will be these points and these points. So let me show you. So if I bring in my graph paper here, right, and it's a bit small, let me make it a bit large for the sake of this graph. So I will have to locate those points. So what do I have? Remember, okay, let me try to locate it in the middle. There it is. And then in the middle there it is. So what do I have? I have my graph here. Remember, you have to label the y-axis, is very important, the x-axis. And then if you remember, we had 1 up to 4. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4. To make the graph long, let's have 1, jump 2, 2, 3, and 4. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Again, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, there is minus 4. Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. Here it's 0. And then for y, we can have 1 and 2. Even here, -1, -2. And what did I say? You just need 2 points. If you go back, we said this is for graph of f of y or f of x. -1 and x is, remember, these are the x-axis, by the way. These are the x-axis. So if I can make it bigger, this is x and the rest is y. So x is -4 and then y is 1. If I look at that part, x is -4 and y is +1. There is a part there. See? Then the second one, what was it? X was 4 and -1. So I come here, x is now +4 and -1. You see this? As I was saying, you just need 2 points that you can join. So I can actually draw this graph here like this. All the other points, trust me, they are going to lie along this point. We can try it, we can check it, just for interest's sake. Let's look at the other points. What was the other point? It was -2 and 0,5. Let's look for -2 and 0,5. You see, this is my 0.5. There is the point. You see that? And then the other one is -1, 0,25. You see that? -1, 0,25. You see, it's almost in the middle. 0 and 0, we had that point here for 0 and 0. And then let's choose this one, 2 and 0,5. 2 and it's actually -0,5. This one is -0,5. See, there is the point there. Did I put a negative here? So I made an error. You can see that it was supposed to be -0,5. It makes sense because this is negative and that is negative. Okay, so guys, you see, with straight line you just need 2 points. So let's do the same thing with this graph. For g of y, remember x does not change. X is -4, g there is 1. So I can look at this -4. Let me use a different marker now. Say here is -4 and 1. Okay, just lies on top. For what? -4 and 1, and then -2 is 0. Okay, by the way, I said I need 2 points. The last one is 4 is -2,5. So I've got 4 and negative, that is, this is -2,5. So here 4 will be -2,5. There is a part there. Now, same thing, if I join these points, you can see that I will have a straight line like this, because this is the best way to put it, like, so it will be a straight line like that, which I can continue down here like this. I see, as I was telling you, you can put all the points in here. For example, 2 is -2. Let's look at 2 and -2. There is 2, and then 2 is supposed to be, this is 1. Let me see it again. 2 is supposed to give me -2. Why is it not giving me -2? 2 is -2. See, I was supposed to have a point here, but something is not right. And then let me check another one. Maybe my graph is wrong. 1 is -1,5. 1 is, yeah, I think there is something wrong with the graph. Let's go back to the calculator and see if ever I did input these values. So remember, what was the graph? The graph was, let's identify that graph. It was this one, which is, let's take it again, mod 3, and then it's -1/2 x. So alpha x -1 equal to, you said, where do you start from? Start from -4, and then you end at 4. Then step is 1. I want the last one, which was 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I chose 3. I said 3 minus 2,5, but 4 is minus 3. You see that? 4 is minus 3. So I need to correct that. Where there was 4 here, it's actually what? It's actually minus 3 there. Okay, that is fine. Let me use that just to show that this was the corrected version. But if I need to undo this first so that I can remove this. Let me do that. Let's do that. So 4 was what? Minus 3. Come and take this off and say minus 3. See that? So the first one was correct, but it's the last one that was a problem. So 4 is negative 3. So I think I needed to extend my line here. This was supposed to be extended going down, so that where is my 3? This becomes my negative 3. So where I have got 4 and negative 3, this point is there. So now what I need to do is to join these points like this. Okay, make it smaller like this. See? So now that's what I needed to do here, like this. So now if we check the other values, for example, we're saying 2 is minus 2. Now it makes sense. There it is. 2 is minus 2. See that? And then what do we have also? 1 is negative 1,5. There is 1 and negative 1,5 is there because this is minus 1,5. So you see, you can have this now. So now you need to label these graphs. By the way, this is y is equal to minus 1 over 4x, and this one is y is equal to minus 1 over 2x minus 1. If you don't label them, they're going to penalize you. You need to label them. And then the question here they asked, it was like, use the graph on clearly indicate the intercept with the axis, meaning where the graphs are cutting. You need to show us where is it that they're cutting. So they want to see that part here clearly. They want to see that part here clearly. They want to see that part clearly. So those are the areas where they want to see. And then the next thing is on this graph, they are saying, read from the graph drawn in question 5.1.1, which means from here, the coordinates of the point where f of x is equal to g of x. This is the point of intersection. When the graphs are equal, we call it the point of intersection, where the graphs cross each other. And I think you saw where the graphs crossed each other. There it is. So the graph crossed at what? If I can look at these and do this, then have my dotted line like this to indicate it. You see, they crossed at what? At minus 4. You are looking for the x value. So that x value is minus 4. So when you write here, when they are saying read from the graph the coordinates, oh, so x is, they want the coordinates. X is minus 4. What about y? Because they want both coordinates of x and y. So you come this direction for the y values. As I said, then do this, and you see y is 1. So that is the part, minus 4 and y is equal to 1. See that? Those are the coordinates of the point of intersection where f of x is that. Then the next one, so this was the question, guys. Then the next one says, given the functions y is equal to 3 sine x for 0 is less than or equal to x is 180 and y is equal to that. Use the graph paper to draw the graph of that and that on the same system of axes. Use broken lines for the graph of that. Alright, 3 marks again. So what I did, as I said again, I went ahead and there it is. Okay, there is my table. Let me make it small. You know why? I wanted to save time, so I went ahead and sketched this thing here. Let me take it up, but I'll show you how you sketch this. So I think this is the right space. So what I did was, let me remove this for now. So what I did was this. The question was, we need to sketch the graph of y is equal to 3 sin x. See this? So what do you do? You say table. Alright, let me write. They say 0 is less than or equal to x, x is less than or equal to 180 degrees. So this is where I'm just using this. These are the domain values. So with this, I take my calculator, as I said, and then with the calculator, what I'm going to do the same thing, mod 3 f of x, then you write that 3 sin alpha x, you close that bracket. If they equal to, they say start from 0, see, equal to, here they specified that you must start from 0. All right, they were very specific about it. So you need to start from 0. Then where are you going to end? You're going to end in 180 equal to step. I always say choose 15 for the start, because 15 has got 30, the special angle, and 15 is 45. So they are special angles. 30 and 45 and 60 and 90, all covered in that. So you see, then you choose the simplified numbers. For example, 0 and 0, there it is. I move on to 15 is not simplified. There is 30 and 1,5, you see. And then the next one, 45 is not, 60 is not, 75 is not, 90 is 3, you see. So these are the values that I took. And then you go down. If you use a calculator, you'll get the same values, 150 and 180. When you've done this, then you can plot it. So if I return my table, my graph, and make it bigger, let's make it bigger. And then what do I have? I have this graph. Okay, by the way, this graph is positive, so I can just start it from here like this. There is no negative on this graph, so I can just do this and do it there, because it starts from 0. So this, you must always have your y and your x. Are you with me? So now if you start plotting, you can have this as your 30, that is my 60, that you move by 30, 90, in between it will be 15, and then that is my 120, 150 and 180. Guys, it's important for you to know this. So you jump every 2. This is 0, and then we can now use these values to say 0 was 0. So I start plotting it. 0 is 0. Here you can see that 0 is 0. Apologies guys for the background noise. Unfortunately, couldn't do anything about it. 15 is 1,5. Oh no, not 15, 30. 30 is 1,5. So I can see, oh, I didn't label y. So the y values, what I will have here, this is 1, this is 2, this is -1, this is -2. I see that. So now what I'm gonna have is 30 was 1,5, 30 is 1,5. It's somewhere here. See, because this is my what? My 0.5, 1.5. And then, okay, I see now it was going all the way to 3, which means, let me do it like this. I think the difference in here is too much. For the y values, I'll jump 1 and call it 1. So for here, it will be, this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3. It will be much better. So that I will have 0, 0, 30 then is 1,5. But now 1,5 will be in the center there, you see? It changes, it becomes somewhere there. Then I erase that so that my 3 can fit. And then, sorry, this is 0,5. I needed 1,5. 1,5 is the center of that, so it's there. Okay, this is my 1,5 because this is after 1, and then after that my 90 is 3. So you look at 90, there is the 3, see that? And then the next one is 150 is 1,5, 150 it's 1,5, you are back to that point there, and 180 is 0, then you're back to that point there. So it will be something like this. So this is the graph, and then you need to label it to say this graph is y is equal to 3 sin x. Alright, then the next thing about this question, what did they say? They said, okay, they gave you that question and y is equal to this, but they say use the broken line for the graph of y is equal to 2 over 3. Now what is 2 over 3? 2 over 3 is 1,5. Guys, if I say the graph of y is equal to 3 over 2, not 2 over 3, which is equal to 1,5. So what you do, you locate the graph here of 1,5. You see, there is 1,5. They said I need a broken line. So what I need to do, it's a graph like this, passing through that, passing through that. You see, those points of 1,5. Broken line, then you do this. That's how I achieve my broken line. Okay, then you label the graph. What is this one called? Y is equal to 3 over 2. Remember, if it's the y, it must cut the y-axis. So it's a horizontal graph. If it was x is equal to 3,2, then it was the vertical one. So at this stage, the 1,5, that is the graph. And then what are they saying here? They are saying read from the graph drawn in question this. In that question, the values of x for which both graphs intersect each other 1 mark. So the points of intersection you can see, you can even actually picture them here. There is the 1,5 and there is the 1,5. For what? For the y values, because this is more like y is equal to. And you can see that is a 30 and 150. But you can do it from here to say, there it is at this point and at that point. You see, so you can read from the graph and say x is equal to 30 or x is equal to 150 degrees. So these are the points that they needed there. All right, so that was that, guys. And moving on with the question, it says the sketch below figure 1 represents the graphs of m, y is equal to that, and the graph of n, y is equal to minus 14. You see, they also did it. Y is minus 14 is a horizontal line. Okay, drawn not to scale on the same system of axes. See, now determine the coordinates of A and B. Now what is A and B? Look, these are the x-axis. Let's take it back. These are the x-axis. I need to show you this. These are the x-axis. You can see that, like I did in the previous graph. And these are the what? The y-axis. And then the point of origin, there it is there. This is the origin. So now, when they are asking about this point A and this point B, what they are saying is you need, at this point, what is it? Y is equal to 0. And even at this point, what you are having here, at A, y is equal to 0. So what you do, you need to solve for this equation. You take this equation, let me now do this. You take this equation and say x squared minus x minus 20 is equal to 0. Then it's up to you how you want to solve it. You can solve it by factorizing like this. You see, factorizing comes again. So you've got x, or you use the quadratic equation. You can have 4 and x and 5. Now since it's negative, it will be negative 5 as the bigger number and positive 4. Then you've got x plus 4 equal to 0. Therefore x is equal to negative 4. Or x minus 5 is equal to 0. Therefore x is equal to 5. So you've got these 2 points, and you can see now what b and what this is. So if I erase here and I erase here, you can see that this is where it's 5, here it's where it's minus 4. But they said what? Determine the coordinates of A and B. So A, it's minus 4, 0. So when you write it, you write like this, A, and you write this, B is 5, 0. So you write it like this, B 5, 0. That's the answer there. And then determine the coordinates of E and F. Where is E and F? Alright, now I want to show you something now. Be careful now. When they're talking about E and F, how many marks did they give this? The first one was 3 marks. Now you see they made it 4 marks. It means when they're talking about this is how you write it. You see, they told you that it's the point of intersection where that is minus 14. So also these graphs are equal. So you take that graph, which was x squared, right? You take that x squared minus x minus 20. Along the x-axis, we said it was equal to 0, but now it's equal to that negative 14. You see that? So you take this and say, with that line now, equals to minus 14. Then you take this to the other side, you have got x squared minus x minus 20 plus 14 is equal to 0. Remember, at this point of intersection here, it's similar to what they told us about this line. Actually, this question and this question is the same. But here, they told us, read from the graph the values of x for which the both graphs intersect each other. So when they intersect, it's more like you're saying these graphs are equal. So, same thing they did here. They said, read from the graph the coordinates where f of x is equal to g of x. So it's the same thing. They were asking the same question. When these graphs intersect, they are equal. So from here, you have x squared minus x minus 14, and that is negative 6 is equal to 0. You do the same thing. Open your brackets, equal to 0. Now you have got your x and your x. Now you have got your 3 and 2. And it's negative there. For negative is negative 3 and positive 2. So you have got x minus 3 equal to 0. Therefore x is equal to, you take that to the other side, it becomes 3. Or x plus 2 equal to 0. You take that to the other side, it becomes x is equal to negative 2. Now what did they say? They say the coordinates of E. So we don't have full one. We have got x is negative 2 here. See, we've got x is minus 2, which means we need to find the y value. And then the other one, we've got x is 3, which means we need to find the y value. So this is your f, this is your E. Don't miss it to say, you make an error now and say 3 is on this side of E. No, 3 must be on the positive, remember? E must be on the negative. Now what you do, where you see this value, you take this minus 2 into this original equation here. See, into this one. So you say when x is equal to negative 2, so y is equal to bracket negative 2 squared minus bracket negative 2 minus 20. It will give us what? The y value when x is minus 2. So in negative 2 squared and then minus negative 2 minus 20 equal to negative 14. See that? And now Oh, by the way, actually we know the y value. I didn't need to do that. You see, it's coming back to minus 14. Even here, it will give me minus 14. So there was no reason for me to do this. Alright, so there is the coordinates. Because it's the same value for y here, it's negative 14. Alright. Now moving on to the next question. So that was ENF's 5.3.3. Determine the y value of c. So now we're here on this one. They want the y value of c, meaning here the y value. So at c, you can see that it cuts the y-axis. Look at it. It is where it is cutting this y-axis here. It goes down and cut. So if I can draw a line here, you can see that this point C is the exact point where it cuts. And that point, we call it the what? The y-intercept. And at the y-intercept, don't forget, x is equal to 0 along this line, because that's where you've got 0 there. So when x is 0, it's again a matter of coming into this equation here and saying, when in this equation, when x is equal to 0, so this will cancel, that will cancel, you see that minus 20 remains. Therefore, your c there is equal to minus 20. You see that? So now they said, determine the y value of c. So here, you can make it y. So say y is equal to minus 20. Alright, that's why it's 1 mark. You see, it didn't need a lot of marks. And then determine the coordinates of D. Now, what is special with D? D is the turning point, TP. Now, if you go to your formulas, they will tell you something about the turning point. Look at this. It's not here. Let's check it here. At the turning point, you see, is the axis of symmetry. There it is. You use this axis of symmetry, which says x is minus b over 2a. Why do we use the axis of symmetry? Look at it. It is the line, that formula, it is the one that divides this graph into 2 equal parts. That's the axis of symmetry. You see? But now, what did they say? They are saying x is equal to minus b over 2a. And guess what? It is the one that we use for finding the what? The turning point. So what you do, we are saying x is equal to minus b over 2a. Then you come back to this equation. In this equation, remember, you have 1 there, you have a hidden 1 there. So this is your ax squared, the general one, plus bx plus c. So when you match, you can say that a is equal to 1. Here, what about b? B is equal to what? Let me erase this. What is b? Look at it. B on the equation is equal to negative 1. And then c is equal to negative 20. You see, that's what you put in here for a and b. So you've got x is equal to minus, and then b is negative 1. You put a bracket. It's minus 1 over 2. And then a again is 1. You see that? Then when you do that, use a calculator. Negative is positive, which is 1 over 2. So here, the x value is 1 over 2. But they said what? They said the coordinates of D. So what you do, you take that x is equal to 1 over 2 into the original equation here. So what you have y is equal to, when x is equal to 1 over 2, so you have y is equal to bracket 1 over 2 squared minus x, which is 1 over 2 minus 20. It will give us the y value now. So if you do that, let's see what we get. It's negative 1 over 2 squared minus 1 over 2 Alright, minus 20. And then it gives me that negative 81 over 4. Negative 81 over 4. So it's negative 81 over 4. You can leave it like that, which was equal to negative, I think it was 20,25, something like that. So when they say that the coordinates of D, so you write 1 over 2 and then negative 81 over 4. It makes sense. It's also negative. X is positive, and then that you write D there, and Y is negative. So guys, that's how you go on getting this 19 marks. All right, moving ahead, just to wrap this thing up now, we have question 6 says convert what? 18 degrees 24 minutes to degrees, and hence calculate the value of these 2 marks. Now when you're converting this to degrees, 18 degrees 24 minutes, you must know the thing is the 24 minutes. What must you do? Remember, you need to convert using this conversion. Let me go to the parts here. Is it there?